So welcome everyone. I am Bryn Brown and I am really delighted to be sharing with you a little bit about what it means to be in soul alignment with your business. Energetic alignment or soul alignment, I use those terms interchangeably because they mean somewhat the same thing, but they resonate differently with different people. So I want to make sure that we're using a word or a term that resonates with you. So we're talking about, okay, what does it mean to have a soul aligned or energetically aligned business? How do we know if we do? How do we know when we're not in alignment? And most importantly, how do we get into alignment and stay there so that we can create the things that we want in our business? So first and foremost, what the heck does it mean to have a soul aligned business? Okay, what does that even mean? When I say energetically aligned or soul aligned, what does that mean? So the way that I see it is a soul aligned business is a business that is running on the same vibration. The intention of the business, the plan and the strategy of the business is running on the same vibration as your soul's greatest desires. Okay. So when we're talking about soul's greatest desires, and I'm not going to get so esoteric in this class today, we might do that in the future. But what I mean by that is that your soul's desire is pure potential. Right? It's unmanifested reality, meaning that it is a very high vibration because it's in thought form only. It hasn't manifested into this reality. So it's a higher vibration. So when I talk about a soul aligned business, what I'm referring to is a business that is in vibrational frequency match with this desire that your soul has for expressing itself in your life. Okay, so that's a really big, that's kind of like a big thing, right? So first of all, it's a sort of abstract concept. And secondly, it's a big goal to have. And how do I know what my soul is asking for? Well, for us, it's most of the time it's going to be easier for us to see that in the outward effects of how our business is running and how it feels in the emotional body and in our physical body, right? So this is what we're talking about is our energetic field, which is our aura, which we can feel and experience around us. Now, everyone's a little bit different in the way that they experience their own energetic alignment and the way that that shows up for them. Okay, so everyone's going to be a little bit different. I'll try and give some examples as much as possible to make it help it relate for you. And certainly we can always go deeper as necessary. So okay, so if we have this soul desire, which we may be consciously aware of or unconsciously aware of, what does that mean in terms of how we operate our business? So what does a business look like when it's in soul alignment? To be honest, it's often easier for us to know when we're out of alignment than in alignment. Okay, so let's start there. Okay, so what does it mean when we are, what does it look like or how is it expressing when we are out of soul alignment for our business? When we're out of alignment, what I often see is first and foremost a separation between your craft and your business. Okay, so people will come to me and they'll say, I love what I do. I would do it for free if I could. I'm practically doing it for free right now, right? Like I have this craft and I love honing my skill and helping people and serving people. And then I have this business and I can't seem to figure out the business, right? So when there's a disconnect between those two, we know we're out of energetic alignment because the doing of your craft is in alignment. It feels good. It lights you up, but the business does not. Okay. So when there's a disconnect between those two things and you feel that they're very separate, then we know that we're out of energetic alignment or soul alignment with our business. Okay. The business side should be something that feels really good. It shouldn't feel foreign. Okay. So when we're out of alignment, there feels like a separation. It also can feel like a lot of friction or a lot of going uphill. There's oftentimes confusion, overwhelm. There is a sense that the bright, shiny object syndrome, right? Like there's so many things out there I could be doing. This person's doing it this way. This person's doing it this way. This person's doing this thing. They say I should do this, right? So we get into this state of confusion, overwhelm, and then most significantly, I see that people begin to give their power away. So they begin to turn to others to tell them how to run their business. Just tell me how, just give me a formula, just Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I've fallen into this trap before too. So there's no shame here, you guys. I've done it that way and I've done it my way. And I can tell you, when you do it your way, it's so much easier. It's so much easier. And it just makes it's more fulfilling, and it'll make you so much happier. The trouble with giving your power away or putting your power outside of you is that we're then denying our soul the ability to express itself in the way that it wants to be expressed. Now, there's no harm in looking to others to learn how to do something you don't know how to do yet, when it feels properly aligned or when there is energetic alignment there, right? So there's nothing wrong with learning from someone else. It's when we're looking to someone else to say, just tell me how to run my business, okay? Now, I'm a business coach. I'm a business mentor. I do consulting around this stuff. There's been many times when people have come to me and I've said, just do it this way, okay? And that has worked for people, and there are a few reasons why. So one is that, certain energetic types do really well with just sort of following the formula, and that actually works for them. Not all types though, okay? So that's more for a generator type. Generators are manifestors if we're speaking human design, but my manifestors, my projectors, and reflectors, that may not necessarily work for you. The second thing is, it's not going to be sustainable. So the things that you're trying are just, when we're looking outside ourselves, just tell me how to do this, right? It may not work for you. Then even if it does, it may not be sustainable. We're going to start burning out. Okay, so burnout is a huge symptom that we're not in energetic alignment with our business. So I want you to start noticing these things when there is constriction, when there is huge resistance, and I mean internal resistance and external resistance, then we know we're out of energetic alignment. So internal resistance would be, I was on a coaching call with a client this morning actually, and she was saying, I'm feeling a lot of resistance around using social media. Okay, so then it was a conversation at this point of, okay, well, is social media the correct way for you to grow your business? Is it in energetic alignment for you? All right, so that's one way to look at it. And then external is, if you're doing all this stuff, if you're making all this activity and you're exerting all of this effort and you're not getting a lot or anything in return, then that's external resistance, and we need to be aware of that. Okay, so all of this is when we're out of alignment. If this is feeling familiar to you, then listen up, because we're going to talk about what does it mean to shift into alignment, and then how do we actually do that. Okay, it is a process, so it can happen very quickly, and there is a sort of uncovering process as well. So now let's talk about what is it like when you're in alignment. Okay, so again, we're bridging that. Business and craft, those two things come together. It's like they unify when you're in an energetic alignment in your business. Your business becomes an expression of your soul. Your business is infused with your soul. So the business activities actually light you up. They actually light you up. And I know that can feel hard to believe. Most of my entrepreneurs that come to me, there's something around money. Usually there's something around money. And tracking their finances and looking at their relationship with money is something that feels like a lot of resistance in the beginning. But when we bring our business into soul alignment, client lead generation, client generation, revenue, all of that stuff starts to click. And then those pieces around looking at the money stuff doesn't feel so uncomfortable anymore. There isn't so much resistance there. We're not fighting an uphill battle. We're actually moving into alignment where things, they flow, right? This is about being in flow. So there is an appropriate energetic exchange moving in and around your finances. Your business is moving through your energetic field. Life is moving through your energetic field, and we are moving through life and our business with much more flow and ease. So yes, more money, okay? When you're in energetic alignment, more money, right? This is more flow. Everything just feels less sticky, less friction, less challenge. Does that mean you'll never have a challenge? No, not at all. However, we have a deeper sense of knowing when we are in a moment of challenge, we have a deeper sense of knowing that it's a fight worth fighting, if that makes sense. So looking at your business and starting to feel into what are the pieces that feel good and what are the pieces that don't feel good can be really advantageous for you to start to see, okay, where am I in energetic alignment and where am I maybe not in energetic alignment? Okay, where does my soul want to express itself and where does it not? Another thing that I noticed for myself personally, as I shifted my business from misalignment to alignment, is a surge of creativity. Okay. Creating content and marketing got easier. Okay. I used to outsource it because I just felt there was this huge block around it. Now, I'm not saying that I'll never outsource it again. And I certainly have a team that helps me, share my messaging, but the core messaging is all mine now because it's easy. I get into these creative flows that it's like, anything that I need to say or what's meant to come out is coming out, and it comes out until I can type it easier, I can record myself, I can hop on a video. It just seems to flow. Creativity opens back up. Again, when I'm talking to entrepreneurs and oftentimes people who are coming to me feel a huge block around marketing because they're like, I just don't know what to say, or I can't come up with that much content. And again, we're looking at, okay, well, are the places that we're putting our content out in alignment? Because if they're not, that's going to make it harder to come up with content for that. And two, is the message, is the core message, is the way that we want to present ourselves aligned on a soul level or aligned on an energetic level so that it actually flows out, okay? So it feels good when you are in soul alignment. It feels fun and joyful. It feels like an expansion, not a contraction. Okay, it feels like an expansion, not a contraction. Now, there can be like a living, breathing thing, an expansion and a contraction within your business. I often talk about this. That is a normal experience to have. It doesn't mean that if you begin to feel a contraction that you are out of alignment necessarily. It's possible that something isn't resonating, okay? But it is also normal to have this sort of expansion and contraction. What I mean by that in terms of a normal range is that, perhaps you're in a season of growth versus a season of reflection, okay? So that would be a great example of normal expansion and contraction within your business. What I'm talking about in terms of moving into full soul alignment and energetic alignment in your business is the big picture. Okay, so how? That's like the $1 million question. Everybody comes and they say, just how do I do this? So if you feel like there are some areas that you are out of alignment, or maybe everything feels out of alignment, or maybe you just don't even know if you're in alignment or out of alignment, what I would say to you is, first and foremost, my very favorite tool for looking at our business and moving into alignment is human design. And I know I'm a total fangirl for it, you guys. I get that. And you don't have to buy into it. However, I want to say that for myself, on my own experiment, my own journey with human design, it has afforded me the best shortcut for moving into alignment and growing my business that I have ever found. I have been running either my own business or someone else's business for over 20 years now, in some form. I've been running my coaching business for 5 years, and human design, really diving into my human design over the last really 6 months, has allowed me to shortcut and make quantum leaps that I worked years to make in my own business. I've also seen it do the same for my clients. Okay, I have one client who I spent a year working with, and this is more of a leadership client rather than an entrepreneurship client, but we worked together for about a year, and there was one core issue that we made very little progress on. There was a tremendous amount of judgment, self-judgment around this personality quirk, we'll call it. And when I finally ran her chart and we sat down and looked at her chart, we could see all of these traits mapped out in her human design framework, right? In her chart. It was there for us to see, and it was so beautiful, and it just allowed so much freedom and space to move in, and the self-judgment to move out, and we were able to make, again, quantum leaps, okay? for my entrepreneurs and other great, I mean, I have a million examples, but it's really understanding how, I can think of another client who has gate 51 activated. It's one of my favorite gates in human design because it is the gate of shock. I don't have this activated, but it allows someone to be a little bit more bold in their marketing. And this particular client had felt like she needed to sort of tame things, needed to bring them in to be a little bit safer in the way that she communicates in her marketing. And we were able to see, no, it's actually energetically correct for you to be a little bold, to be a little brazen, to say the thing you want to say. Just say the freaking thing you want to say, right? So that's not to say that you can't if you don't have that gate activated. So I know there are going to be some of you scurrying to go look at your chart and see if you have this activated. You do have the ability to have that expression. Okay, we have all of the energy in our chart. But we are able to use the chart to just sort of look at the framework to say, where are the strengths, where is their energy flowing, so that we know what you can tap into and leverage. So I know I'm a total fan girl for human design, but you guys, if human design is calling to you, it's a really powerful shortcut. You can do a lot of Googling to understand your chart for free. There's a ton of resources out there. That's how I got started. If you're interested, you can book a human design chart reading with someone that you really resonate with, so you can hunt around and follow some people. I also offer chart readings, so if that's of interest to you, you're more than welcome to get one of those booked. I'll drop a link under the video so that you can access that if you want to have a formal chart reading. Those are 75 minutes and they're recorded, so you have that, and then you can get a better understanding. The way that I do it personally is it's a little bit of it's a formal chart reading, but you also get that intuitive business guidance in there. Anyway, if that's interesting to you, you can either reach out to me or we'll drop a link. And then next week, I'm also running a free webinar on human design and using it in your business and what you want to look for. So again, it's a free resource, and it may be a really great place for you to start to just get some information. So we'll also drop the link under the video for that so that you can get registered, join us either live or for the replay, and get access to that information and just kind of get a grip on how you might look at your human design chart in relation to your business and how you can use it to help you move into more of an energetic or soul alignment. But if human design is not your thing, or if you want to know what else you can do outside of human design to shift into alignment, it's really looking for that places of resistance. So what I typically recommend is that we just sort of zoom out on the business. I encourage people to always start with the vision. Okay. Most of my clients are the big vision holders anyway, and they just feel like they're missing all the little parts and pieces. I like to say that they can see the forest, and I help them curate which trees and shrubs and critters go into the forest, right? But the truth is, if we are looking at our business from a place of, okay, what is everyone doing? What should I be doing? What tactics or strategies should I be putting in place? And everyone's on Instagram, so I'm going to go on Instagram. We're doing it backwards, you guys. We have to sort of back out and slow down a little and say, okay, well, what do I want my business to look like? And then reverse engineer it. Okay. So if you have a huge vision for your business, let's say you have a vision of, impacting 1 million people's lives, right? Say you have a practice and you want to help heal 1 million people. How do you want to get there? Okay. In the big vision, perhaps you feel intuitively like there's a book in your future, and being a best-selling author is part of that. Well, why are we going to spend all of our time trying to become an Instagram influencer when you should be writing a book? Right? So, or the book isn't even in there in your plan, in your strategy, and we're spending all this time focusing on Instagram, right? Or let's say you're really amazing at creating community, but everyone says become an Instagram influencer. So you're on there, but that's not really a community platform. There are other platforms like Facebook or whatever communities that you want. There's other apps you can use to create a community, and we're not doing that because we're so focused on what we, quote, should be doing, right? So what I first like to do is have people sort of zoom out. What is the big vision? And then we work backwards, and then we tap into your specific energy, your intuition, your gut response, your emotional response, whatever's most correct for you. And then we tap into that, and then we say, okay, well, what's going to get me there? All right. Is this all referrals? Is this word of mouth? Is social media not even on my radar? right? Like, do I not want to be there? Is there too much resistance? By the way, the client I was speaking with this morning, where we landed with her energetic using her energetic field, we were able to dial in and say, okay, listen, I know that this platform, LinkedIn, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is yes. That's a yes for me. Facebook is a hard no. Instagram is a yes, but not now. Okay, so we were able then to say, okay, look, now we're just focusing on one platform, and then within this platform, what's not resonating? Where's the resistance coming from? So that we could start to move and shift things into alignment so that it felt better overall. Because the ultimate end result, you guys, is once you move into energetic alignment, everything gets easier. You're right, people come to you. They come into you, and I've literally stopped all of my marketing for 3 months. 3 months, you guys. I wasn't marketing anything, and I had more people coming my way than I had had in years. Okay, so they're just coming my way because energetically speaking, they're being magnetized. So that's possible for you. So there's a few other tools that I use. So again, human design is just one of the tools. It's a really great tool for helping you shortcut yourself into energetic alignment or soul alignment. Visualization and meditation tools are something else that I use quite often to help make that shift, and it can be really powerful, really effective in a really short amount of time. But then reflection, looking at the business and having a place where you can sit down either with somebody that you trust, or a coach or a partner or somebody that you can sit down with to say, okay, what is really not feeling good? And let's start to pull those things out and remove them. And then what do you really want to do? Okay, let the vision pull you forward. What I don't want you to do is go out there using, all the shoulds and putting all this work into play that's not going to be sustainable for you in the long run, because you're not designed that way, or that you're just doing it because someone else said you should, and you're just giving away your power to this person, right? You have the ability to come up with a clear vision for yourself and then move into that energy, and everything will fall into place. I promise. Okay. So that's it. All right. So any questions, feel free to drop into the comments and I'll get them answered. I will also drop in those links that I mentioned, either for a session or to register for the webinar. That's a really, really great place to start, you guys. It's a free 75-minute class that I'm teaching that is all about using human design in your business. So if that's intriguing, definitely get registered for that. We're live next week, but there will be replay available. And really start to feel into these areas of constriction and expansion. What do you love? What resonates? What is not resonating? Do something bold if you need to. I am closing down a big group, as many of you know, on Facebook. It's quality over quantity, you guys. It didn't feel good or energetically aligned anymore. I'm not putting my energy there. We have to stop leaking our energy out to all these places. Your energy is precious. Your knowledge is precious. It's so valuable. And we need to be getting the word out about what we do to the people who are energetically matched for our work, right? So moving into your own alignment will magnetize you to those people who are a match. All right. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here, for watching. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and we'll get back to you. And I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye for now.